When it comes to Patagonia, most people that come here from the Chilean side do so by first arriving to Punta Arenas, the capital of the region located on the coast of the Strait of Magellan. True, you won't find epic mountains or stunning landscapes that Patagonia is best known for in Punta Arenas, but having visited it twice, I can assure you that the city has its own charm and does offer a lot to both photographers and casual explorers alike. One of my personal favorites in Punta Arenas is the now Victoria Museum, located on the outskirts of town. It is an open-air museum that features full-size replicas of the historic ships that contributed to the exploration of the region, including an exact copy of Nao Victoria, the carrack from the Magellan's own fleet, that first discovered the waterway around the southern tip of Latin America in the early 16th century. There's also a collection of medieval weapons and armor that you can try on. For anyone fascinated with history and old ships, this place is a definite must-see.
Hey guys, and welcome to Patagonia. Punta Arenas, the gateway to Patagonia. If you're flying here from Chile, capital Santiago, that's where you arrive. And a lot of people actually consider Punta Arenas sort of like just an intermittent stop where you can just stop, spend the night, or maybe even just proceed straight to Puerto Natales and then Torre del Paine. But I don't think it's true. I think Punta Arenas is a little cool town and actually gives you like the first taste of Patagonia, because you arrive here on the shore of the Strait of Magellan and feel so lonely, as if you're literally at the end of the world. And then here, so this guy over there, is a pretty cool museum where you got a full-size replica of Magellan's ship and a few other vessels and some bits of history. I really enjoy being here. It's my second time here. I was here a few years back as well. And it's pretty cool to just read about how people used to live and travel and survive. And I find it fascinating. Like this boat, for example. A crew of several people spent like a couple of weeks in this little boat in the storms between here and Antarctica. Those bits of history really fascinate me. So cool stop if you're in town and have a couple of hours. Definitely recommend it. Oh, and I also like that ship over there, so I'm gonna go there now. It's like a rusty sunken ship, which I think makes for a great photo. I don't know what it is, but the rusty old sunken ships really attract me. There's like this vibe of mystery, of some sort of tragedy around them, which is really fascinating. And so I've set up my camera right here. Very simple composition. Straight in the center of the frame is the ship, and there's a little bit of water surrounding it, moody skies above. I do find the water to be a bit of a distraction, so I've put both my 6-stop ND filter and a polarizer here, and in this condition gives me around 5 seconds exposure, which is just enough to smoothen out a little bit. I wish I had a 10-stopper, but you gotta make do with what you have. And yeah, a really cool ship, and our first image from Patagonia.
While we're on the subject of the old rusty ships, there's a lot of them around Punta Arenas. One in particular that I really wanted to photograph is on the coast just south of town. You'll need a car to get to it, but there won't be any signs to indicate the location nor a parking lot to leave the car, so you'll have to get creative. Finding a way down to the shore isn't quite straightforward either, but if you are as fascinated with shipwrecks as I am, you will definitely find it worth your while.
Alright, so this is really the same kind of deal, having both my 6-stop ND filter and a polarizer so that I can achieve maximum smoothness in the water. With that, I managed to get 10-second exposure time. Now granted, that's at f22. Normally you don't want to shoot at f22 because of the diffraction, but I'm actually doing 2 frames, one at f22, the other just normal f9 exposure for the vessel and the sky. And so what I'm going to do is just combine the two later in the post, just taking the smooth water out of the longer exposure and the rest from the shorter one. And yeah, pretty cool spot, a little tricky to get to, but definitely worth it.
Punta Arenas is a pleasant city to take a stroll through. There is some interesting architecture, a park with a monument to Magellan where the locals like to spend their time, and a few good restaurants. For the best sunset views, however, I suggest making your way to the coast, where the remains of the old abandoned piers could serve as a foreground interest in the sunset photo.
So I'm set up for the final shot of today, and what I have here is this old rustic pier with some birds sitting there. It's a pretty nice composition, and really if you come here, the coast is a very nice place to be. It's just the kind of place where you can have an enjoyable stroll and just walk and enjoy the Patagonian vibe. But photography-wise, you're kind of limited to those piers. There's one here and the other one over there, because really there is no other prominent subject. So I've set up here on the tripod. I'm having another long exposure photo. So I guess today has been kind of a long exposure day, because again I just want to smoothen out the water and concentrate on the birds and the pier. I think it's going to be a nice image and a nice conclusion to the day. In the morning we're going to Isla Magdalena, which is famous for the penguin colony. So yeah, it's going to be fun and interesting as well, and yeah, I'll see you there.
One last thing to do in Punta Arenas is a boat tour to Isla Magdalena, a small island in the Strait of Magellan famous for its penguin colony. It's only about an hour and a half by boat, and there are a couple companies that can get you there. We went with Fjordos del Sur and had an overall great experience, so I can definitely recommend them. The ticket is a little on the pricey side at 75,000 Chilean pesos or $90 US, but I think it is well worth it. Just remember, the penguins are only present on the island from November to late March, so there isn't much sense in going there outside the season. The time you spend on the island is strictly limited to just 1 hour, presumably for conservation purposes. So have your camera ready, there is a lot of penguins there to hang out with. You don't even need a super long lens to photograph them, as the penguins are very close to the tourist track. Most of this footage was taken with a 24 to 105mm lens, with an occasional 70 to 200 thrown in. What you do need, however, is a good light. I did take a couple of decent shots in the beginning, but then the clouds came in and it was never quite the same since then. Luckily, I've already visited Isla Magdalena a few years back, in the March of 2016, and had much better luck, so I'll also show a few photos from that trip. As a side note, I also recall seeing a lot more penguins back then. I'm not entirely sure why that would be, but just keep in mind that your mileage may vary. Thank you so much guys for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it and I hope you got something useful out of it, and if so, I would really appreciate a like and a subscribe. Go on now, hit that thumbs up button, hit that subscribe button. It will only take you a split second and it would mean a whole lot to me. Of course, leave me a comment if you feel like it, and I will see you in the next one.
So we are now ready to go and conquer Patagonia. Follow me. This is actually super heavy and uncomfortable. I can't imagine how people used to fight wearing this. Yeah, I'm gonna go back and change.